Whenever we're investing in property, that are we investing to run away from tax, or are we investing to make more money? Now, if you are actually going to be investing to be making a whole lot of money, this basically means that you need to align yourself with the necessary people.
If we're speaking about this, when it comes to property pricing, we really need to understand, because you go to Property 24 or private property, you see a price there. Then the question is, what is that price? That's the price that it's listed at. Is it the market price or not of the property? You find out that it might be overpriced or underpriced, or if it is sold at a discount, at how much?
Your take.
I mean, when we're listening to the guy, the biggest objection when it came to flip,
was the tax.
He was saying that we're going to be heavily taxed. But now, looking at where we are right now, it's like him saying, play the small game. So that, I'm not saying the rental is the small game, but for him it was, don't play flip, because you'll be getting a lot of money at one go. And once you start getting that chunk of money, let's just say after a project you're getting 150. So if you're doing 2 projects a year, you're looking at 300k in profit, and then you'll be heavily taxed. So does that mean then you should always focus on a strategy that will make you to be taxed so much? So that's the thing that you need to be asking yourself, is that, does that make sense or not, man?
I mean, at a later stage, when you do invest in property, you are going to be getting a whole lot of money. So now, does this mean that you're still going to be running away from that because of tax reasons? So that's the things that we really need to understand whenever we're investing in property, that are we investing to run away from tax, or are we investing to make more money? Now, if you are actually going to be investing to be making a whole lot of money, this basically means that you need to align yourself with the necessary people. If you do like this content, please make sure that you do follow us, so you put a like over there. And if you do have any questions, blow up the comment sections, man. We really like hearing from you.
Lego, I like what you said in terms of we need to be understanding why we're investing in property, especially as a beginner, because if somebody's saying do not go into flip because you'll be heavily taxed, now the question is, am I investing to run away from tax?
Bread and butter of property investing. I know as property investors, we are thinking that our business is within property. However, our business is really made by how good of a negotiator you are, right? Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because if you do not really negotiate on property prices or on material that you're using, this basically means that you might be purchasing a property at market value. So now let's speak about negotiation. Now, this is a tough one. Now, how do you know that your negotiation is going well, or how do you know that, man, you really sucked on negotiation this time?
I mean, we're speaking about this when it comes to property pricing. We really need to understand, because you go to Property 24 or private property, you see a price there. Then the question is, what is that price? That's the price that it's listed at. Is it the market price or not of the property? You find out that it might be overpriced or underpriced, or if it is sold at a discount, at how much? So we really need to understand the pricings when it comes to property investors, especially property investing as a beginner, because now if you do not understand that, it's easy for you to fall prey into whatever price. Because I've seen a situation whereby the property was distressed, it was below market value. However, if you're going to be buying it with the intention of flipping, you find out that it will be high end, so it will be more to the high price, and that might choke you out. What do I mean by saying that might choke you out? So let me put a practical example to this. So let's just say that we went to a specific area, and this area, the properties that are in good conditions are selling at 600,000. So then, with that being said, we saw a house that was selling at 300,000. So of course, looking at the jump from 300,000 to 600,000, it is a discount on paper. Only to find out that once you start fixing, the renovation costs are going to charge you 250,000. So if I'm going to add 300,000 with 250,000, that's going to leave me at 550. So let's look at it this way. If I'm now to sell, I hope you guys are seeing it from where we are right now. The buffer right now from 600,000 to 550 is 50,000. An estate agent is going to be charging you 8% on the sale. So if you will be looking at, oh no, I don't have a calculator on me. Man, you can't
grab a calculator.
There we go. So if we're looking at 8% of 600,000, that is
8% of 600,000. 600.
The soldier should always have his ammunition.
It's 48,000.
48,000. So now we also need to look at us paying back the estate, paying back the bank, and then you'll understand that the difference in that might be about 8,000. And then you'd ask yourself, then, is this really flip? So you do not want to find yourself in that situation whereby you saw that there was a discount and then only to find out that your profit is 2,000. I got it there. The profit is 2,000. So now when you're looking at this, we've been in this situation. We've seen so many people in this situation that they were involved with the flip, only to find out that they made 2,000. Whereas the estate agent made 8% of the whole sale. So then you'd ask yourself, why don't I be an estate agent instead of being a property investor?
Once. Because now those are the situations that you don't want to find yourselves in.
Yeah.
I mean, some people say that, no, at least I got the necessary, what's that? Experience. At least I got the necessary experience. But at the end of the day, it's about also the results, right? Results means money. So if the estate agent is making more money than you are, then the question would rather be then, is it really worth it for you to be flipping properties? And this is where a lot of people are saying that maybe property investing isn't working out for me. However, you didn't really use the correct strategies or the correct methods to be investing in property. Now, I want to touch on negotiations. Right? Negotiations are a really tough part of property investing because you're working with different personalities and you also need to understand everything within property investing. Now, the first thing that goes in negotiating is that you need to know information, right? You need to have the relevant information to actually negotiate. So now sometimes it does happen that you come through, you negotiate on a property and an estate agent can see that this person doesn't really know or understand what they're speaking about. However, if you come up with the data that really makes sure that the information is going according to what you are actually saying, it makes it better for you to be able to negotiate. Classic example, if you have a property right now and you're going to be negotiating and you see that this property is in terrible condition, you're able to tell the estate agent that, okay, I understand that the person wants 800,000, right? The person wants 800,000. However, 1, 2, 3 is not in good condition and I would have to fix this. So how about we move from the 800,000 to 700,000? Now, when negotiations really come in place is that when the person is saying that I don't want to decrease my price. Now the question is that how do we then fix that particular situation? Now I remember the last time we had a bit of a problem with was it the ceiling, right?
Yeah,
it was the ceiling. So now the question was that we had a buyer and the buyer was like, guys, I want to purchase the property at 900,000. We had listed it at 1 million. I want to purchase the property at 900,000 because the ceiling is bad.
It was the roof leakage.
There was a roof leakage.
Yeah.
Now the question was that let's negotiate on this thing because as much as you want the property, I can't also make a loss. Now let's put you in this situation. How about we don't fix the property and then you purchase the property at 900,000, use the remaining 100,000 to fix the property, or you pay us the 1 million, and now if you do pay us the 1 million, then we know that 100,000 would be coming to us. How much money can you actually need to go into real estate?
So I'm gonna touch on this one because this one is a very sensitive topic. Mahlatsi asked us a question, right? So there's a lot of content creators. There's a lot of content creators that speak about you don't need money down when it comes to property investing. And our content is not focused on that because we know what's really happening on the other end. Because let me give you a classic example of what we just did right now. If you are involved in a flip and I borrowed Lebu's money, the same example that we used. So the house was 600,000, it's listed at 600,000. We managed to negotiate it down to 300,000. So now I need to pay back my investors. On top of that, the profit was only at 2,000. So now already you're finding yourself in a situation whereby you're not able to pay other people, and now we already made that agreement.
You were putting in the hard work, yet you got paid the least amount of work.
So it would vary from one property to another. The reason why I'm saying that, if you're looking at just transfer cost of a house from 1 million to a house of 300,000, it's gonna vary. If you're looking at the fixing, the renovations from a huge house that has 4 bedrooms to a 2-bedroom house, it'll vary. If you're looking at development, if you're looking at starting a house from scratch, it'll also vary. So we really need to understand what is your desired strategy, and we also need to be looking at a specific property so that we get our contractors to get there. I'll tell you a funny story that we found ourselves in last time. We went to the contractor. I mean, we're still new in the game, the property investing game. We went to the contractor. He had his diary. I don't know why I hate diaries, but I'll just carry it for the sake of it. Okay, so how much do you think we'd spend? Because we'd like to put in an offer today. The guy was like, 150,000 would do. We're like, how did you get to 250,000? He's like, it's not bad. I'm like, so if we do put in an offer to purchase and then only to find out that it's going to charge us 300,000 to fix, where are we going to get the surplus? So that might even push us to making a loss. So that question is going to vary from one property to another, and also one strategy to another, whether it's flip or whether it's rental. But one thing that I can tell you, that property investing is cash intensive, and I wouldn't want to see people in a situation whereby, let's just say that you didn't have any money down, you bought a rental. Of course, with rental, our desired strategy is that we're going to be getting money on a monthly. Back the question to you, that if we lose the tenant and all our expenses, our total expenses were 7,000, the question would then be, how do you maintain that property for the next 3 months? Because the bank is not going to say, no, we understand, we're with you for the next 3 months. They want their money.
Yeah. So I'll make a classic example, right? Looking at how much you'd want to spend. So this will vary, as we did say, this will vary from one property to the next, right? So now we're doing a case study of a 500,000 property. Now, if the property is worth 500,000 already, the first thing that we need to be thinking about is transfer cost. Now, if we're saying 500,000, looking at the transfer cost that we're going to be spending on a 500,000 property, and we don't pay anything, this basically means that we'd need around 20,000 for transfer costs, right? And now if you're looking at transfer costs that are 20,000, and you're also looking at renovations that are plus minus, say for instance, the 50,000 for renovations, and you're also looking at your holding cost, which might amount to around, let's say plus minus, give or take, how much?
Let's say
20,000.
Yeah.
Now, if we're saying 20,000 plus 50,000 plus 20,000, this will give you a total of 90,000. Now, looking at this particular property, it would actually vary from one situation to another, because 50,000 might not also take you that far looking at renovations. So now we need to also understand the severity of how bad the property is. However, if you're looking at a property that you'd need to renovate of 50,000, you're also looking at 20,000 that you'd need to pay for transfer cost, and you're also looking for 20,000 at holding costs. Already you know that you need to be having around 90,000. To be safe, I'd say 100,000 in order for you to be able to start investing in property. Man, hope we really answered your question there.
I remember we were in a situation whereby we went into a deal that was quite bigger than us at that point in time. And now we couldn't pay the property. I mean, we couldn't hold the property. It was too much. We ended up paying with credit, and that was crazy.
Yeah, if you haven't paid credit with credit, you haven't lived to your fullest, man. You haven't lived to your fullest.
So I'd say that we really need to understand in total that what expenses are we exposed to, especially as first-time beginners, because there are operational costs that only focus on the day-to-day running of your property, and then there's also operational costs of your business as a whole. And a lot of property investors do not look at this. We will be posting a video whereby we're talking to a tech specialist who deals with property investors. I really feel that this is going to be very insightful. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit the YouTube channel at Nongwealth. We'll be uploading, we'll be speaking to our accountant. The thing with this is that a lot of property investors and beginners, I'm thinking that, you know what, the money will just be coming to my account. There's no need to get an accountant. Only to find out after 5 to 10 years, SARS will be knocking at your door. And now we see this with so many celebrities. If you have invested in yourself and you start seeing the fruits of what you invested in, because we've seen this too many times, whereby our uncle was like, why don't you just build a couple of rooms and then you'd make money? And then I'd ask him that, what is making money to you?